Just when you thought the Battle Royale apocalypse was ending, another one comes out saying that they're just shutting down, they're biting the dust. We're not talking about Spellbreak, that's already dead. We're not talking about Hyperscape, because that's been dead for a long time. Totally Accurate Battlegrounds announced that they're not developing the game anymore, but they're kind of just keeping the servers up for now. But the one that's closing next is Rumbleverse. So Rumbleverse was basically a Battle Royale that revolves around like grappling and wrestling. And well, less than 6 months after release, the game's already announced that they're shutting down. It says on the main page that live services will be turned off on February 28th. So we have 27 days left if you want to enjoy this game. Season 2's over. They're just gonna kill it. That's it. And I find that really interesting because I've noticed that a lot of these battle royales that just don't follow the norm often end up suffering and just don't make the cut. They just always die. And I think I know why that happens. It's kind of unfortunate too, you know, because they're trying so hard to stand out. They're trying so hard to be unique, to introduce new mechanics, new perspectives, new ways to play the BR genre. But at the end of the day, people kind of just don't want that. The people just want the same old Rudy Tooty point and shooty that they're just always used to. And unfortunately, that means games like Spellbreak and games like Rumbleverse, games that just introduced anything that's even remotely different from the tried and true BR formula, they just die. They just die. That's it. A couple of things I want to talk about Rumbleverse. When you go to their latest news page, so it says that Epic Games and Iron Galaxy Studios are just going to shut down the game entirely. They're not going to be working on it anymore, and it's going to suffer the same fate as Hyperscape. They're just going to kill it entirely. Will they get the Spellbreak treatment and then just release the assets to the public? I don't think so, and I'll tell you why in a second. One thing that I found that was really interesting about this, like I was not expecting this at all, by the way, is that they're actually offering refunds, like complete refunds to anyone who spent money on the game, people who spent on cosmetics, people who just spent literally anything, from the battle pass to the cosmetics to just buying. I don't think you buy the game, but yeah, that's actually kind of interesting, you know, because technically they're not really profiting at all. They're just saying, hey, we failed this experiment, sorry for taking your time, here's your money back, by the way. I've never seen other people do that. I've never seen the other company do that. But then again, it is Epic Games. Epic Games is very how do I put this? Epic Games is really good at keeping people happy, even if that means just giving people their money back. You know, you see it all the time, like Fortnite, whenever they do mess up with some skins and stuff, they're just more than happy to just give you your money because they have way too much of it to begin with. But in contrast to this, surprisingly enough, I don't know if this was planned or not. I don't know if this was just some sort of coordinated attack, but at the same time that Rumbleverse announced that they're shutting down, Apex Legends Mobile also sent out a statement saying that they're just shutting it down. They don't care. They're just like, hey, this ain't working. We're not going to do anything about it, we're just going to shut it down. But I don't see anywhere here even the slightest mention of a refund or anything. It's a game that's also been out for maybe like less than a year. They're already calling it quits, and they're just like, hey, thank you for your money. See ya. Have fun. It's EA, by the way. That's just kind of become the norm in the gaming company. But the people who end up hurt at the end of this is obviously the gamers. The gamers are the ones who put faith into these companies, right? You throw out a product, you give them so many promises, you hype them up, you give a pretty reasonable monetization option, you know, battle passes, loot boxes, and all that stuff. It kind of just feels like you just take advantage of the gamers, you know? It's just like, hey, we're doing this, by the way, just give us money so that we can keep doing it, keep giving us money. But then at the end of the day, they're just like, never mind. We'll just take your money and go. Thank you. And one of the things that really pisses me off about this is that it just leaves a really sour taste in your mouth. The whole concept of free-to-play games with monetization options is that you at least have the promise that the game will continue to develop, at least for, God, I don't know, a year or two, maybe 3. But when you call it quits at 6 months, it's just like people trust you, people give you your money, just for you to go like, nah, thank you. That's just one of the things I really just hate about online gaming as a whole. I've always been a fan of just like, hey, take my money, take $40, take $60, but give me a game that's mine that you can't take away from me no matter what. I much prefer that 100 times over a game that just, I'm not sure if I should spend money on it or not, because what if it shuts down tomorrow? What if it doesn't? That level of uncertainty and that sort of like mistrust that you develop for these games really just takes a toll on the whole gaming experience for me to begin with. So going back to Rumbleverse specifically, there is something that they did mention, not on the Rumbleverse website, not on Epic Games, but on the Iron Galaxy Studios website, that did spark a little bit of a hope, like a little fire and my heart. Because one thing they did mention on their little blog post, I'll pull it up here in a second, they have an open letter to the Rumbleverse community. It says, "It is our sincerest hope that this news does not mark the end of Rumbleverse. You may not yet have seen the Rumble in its final form. If we can welcome people back onto the deck of the battle barge again, we hope you'll be there laced up and ready to take your rightful place in the canon." So what that means is that, yes, they are shutting down the game, but they technically still own the IP, they still technically own all the assets. So if in the future something else comes up that they can just repurpose the game into something new, something fresh and bright, well, that would be actually amazing, because you don't have the Battle Royale per se, but you'll have something within the Rumble universe. It's not like Spellbreak, because Spellbreak really did just call it quits entirely. But at least with this letter, it feels like they're not quitting per se. They're just like, you know what, we'll hold on to this. If there's another game mode that shows up in the future that we can sort of just build on top of this, we'll do that. And that really sounds amazing. I think that's the same thing Hyperscape is doing. If I'm not mistaken, Ubisoft is working on a game that's sort of like a spiritual successor, not really going to be a battle royale. But I do think that a lot of the times these battle royales just die because, well, they're battle royales, you know? It's a genre that's been out since like 2017 or something, 2016. So it's already on its like 6th year of release. And well, the fact that they keep releasing battle royales to this day, Rumbleverse is less than 6 months old. So the fact that this was just released nearly at the end of the cycle when people are just getting overall just tired of playing BRs, you kind of set yourself up for failure on that one, you know? Especially when you have a game that only revolves around one game mode and just that one game mode. That game's success is entirely reliant on the game mode's success. But battle royales are only limited to battle royale game modes. So I really am hoping that they manage to find a way to just take all those assets and take that universe and just not let it burn to the ground. Just make something else with it, right? Team deathmatch, Slayer, Rumbleverse sounds okay, I guess. But yeah, guys, I really just wanted to talk about all this stuff that's been happening right now with the battle royale sphere, and then just like a bunch of games just dropping like flies out of nowhere. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I'll catch you guys later.